You're sitting on the couch, watching some TV, minding your own sweet business when your cat jumps up and, butt in face, up close, with their tail raised so you can see everything. Why on earth does your cat do this? Is it intended as some kind of insult? Or are they just really proud of their butt and want to show it off to everybody they know? Well, even if the second explanation might not be the right one, it's certainly an understandable impulse. Although you probably don't think about it very often, your cat's butt is actually a very interesting part of their anatomy, with a ton of secrets that you might not know. In this video, we're going to look at 8 facts about your cat's rear end. By the end, you'll hopefully have learned to be a bit more appreciative next time your kitty decides to grace you with a view of it. But before we dive in, why not subscribe and join our feline-loving community for more fun facts about your feline? Fact 1. We mentioned it at the beginning, but why does your kitty always insist on sticking their butt in your face, even if they did want to show it off? By now, they must be aware that you've already seen it. Well, you may be aware that dogs have a tendency to sniff each other's bottoms whenever they meet, as a kind of greeting. But did you know that your cat does the same thing? You probably don't notice it, because most cats simply don't meet that many other cats. It's not like you can take them down to the cat park to watch them socialize. But this behavior is exactly what your kitty is trying to encourage by showing you their butt all the time. For cats, smell is their main sense, just as vision is for humans. When your kitty smells another cat's behind, they are picking up on a pheromone scent that will tell them all sorts of things, from how healthy the other cat is to whether they're on the lookout for a new boyfriend or girlfriend, to even their emotional state. Your weak human nose can't pick up on any of these details, of course, but your cat doesn't know that. When they shove that furry butt in your face, that's their way of saying, "Hi, let me tell you about how I'm doing today." Fact 2. But why do cats sniff each other's butts specifically? You might think it's natural enough that the butt would be the strongest smelling part of your cat, and it is, but not for the reason you might be thinking. When another cat sniffs your cat, they're not picking up on the scent of their last trip to the litter box. Rather, they're smelling the pheromones that are released by your kitty's anal glands. These glands contain special bacteria that produce compounds that amplify your cat's distinct pheromone scent. Scientists now believe that cats maintain these glands in their butts specifically to encourage the growth of these helpful smelly bacteria. Fact 3. Have you ever watched your kitty preparing to pounce on their favorite toy? They creep forwards, lower their head, fix their eyes on the unfortunate catnip mousie, and wiggle their butt. This habit of shaking their booty in the moments before making a kill is common to many cats. Some cat parents have nicknamed this movement the death wiggle. Scientists aren't exactly sure why cats do this, but they have a few different explanations. 1. The wiggle is caused by your kitty repositioning their paws to make sure that their pounce ends with them actually landing on their prey, rather than missing by miles and falling embarrassingly on their face. 2. The wiggle is caused by your kitty testing the ground beneath their feet to make sure that it's hard enough to take off from. 3. The wiggle is caused by your kitty doing a quick muscle warm-up, always important before exercise, to ensure that they don't strain anything when they spring into action. Fact 4. If you have young kids in your life, then you're probably used to dealing with poopy diapers. Even if you've gotten to the stage where you no longer have to fight the urge to go take a shower every time your baby has a blowout, it's never a pleasant task, and you'll likely be relieved when your kid moves out of that stage and starts using the potty. But spare a thought for poor mother cats, whose task is 100 times more gross than even the fullest diaper. Unlike human babies, who poop too much, if anything. Until they're 4 weeks old, kittens can't go to the bathroom on their own. Instead, They require their anus to be stimulated in order to encourage them to go. How do you stimulate your baby's anus if you're a mother cat? A question we all ask ourselves every day. Well, you lick it. Ew, gross. You'll be relieved to hear, however, that humans who end up fostering orphaned kittens don't have to do this. We're fortunate enough to have evolved opposable thumbs, which means that we can use a wet towel instead. Fact 5. You're no doubt already aware that you should never pull a cat's tail. It's one of the first things that most of us are taught about interacting with cats when we encounter them as children. But what makes it so terrible? Obviously, you know it makes your kitty uncomfortable, just as a human would be uncomfortable if somebody suddenly yanked on their arm. But there's more to it than just that. Your cat's tail is joined onto the end of their spinal cord, and wrapped around it are a tangle of long, stringy nerves called the cauda equina, which comes from the Latin for horse's tail, because the individual strands, all bunched together, look kind of like a horse's tail. These nerves carry messages from your kitty's brain and spinal cord to the muscles at the other end of their body, including the muscles that control their ability to hold in their pee and poop. As a result of this strange anatomical quirk, many victims of so-called tail pull injuries become incontinent as a result, due to damage to those all-important nerves. Fact 6. When you're petting your kitty, particularly at the base of their tail, you may sometimes notice them raising their butt under your hand. Some cat parents have nicknamed this movement the elevator butt. Why does your cat do this? Well, you'll be pleased to hear that it's a sign that your kitty is enjoying the pets. Your cat raises their butt so they can lean into your hand so you can pet them more and harder. Fact 7. This is an odd thing to think about, and it's something that you'll probably have to take our word for, unless you fancy shaving your cat's butt to check. Your cat has butt cheeks. You can't see them because they're relatively small and easily hidden by fur, but they're there. The reason your kitty's butt looks so much flatter than yours is because humans have an unusually large gluteus maximus, or butt muscle. For cats, and most other animals, the gluteus maximus, despite its name, is actually a lot smaller than the other muscles, such as the gluteus medius, which is the biggest muscle in your cat's butt. Humans have an unusual amount of junk in their trunk because those fat butt muscles help us support our whole upper body weight on our hips, allowing us to walk upright. Your kitty has 2 extra legs to support their body, so they, and other 4-legged animals, lack big butts. And they cannot lie. Fact 8. Speaking of how your kitty gets around, you might notice that they have more than one form of locomotion. While cats will generally use their 4 little paws to get from A to B, or possibly yowl for a human to carry them if they're feeling very lazy, sometimes you might see them scooting. Scooting is when your kitty sits upright on their butt with their back legs out in front and uses their front legs to drag themselves across the floor. This might look funny, but it comes with a pretty major downside. If your cat didn't take the time to clean themselves up after their last trip to the litter box, then you could end up with skid marks all over your carpet. But no matter how gross it may be for you, it's worse for your cat. Cats scoot because they need to scratch their butts. Your fur baby can't easily reach around there due to the way their legs bend. So when they get an awkward itch, rubbing their butt against a rough surface like your carpet could be their only option. Frequent scooting is usually a sign of some kind of medical problem in your cat, such as parasites, an allergic reaction, or impacted anal glands, making them itchy or uncomfortable. If you notice your kitty scooting, get them to a vet. For more information on how to help your kitty, check out this video on things you should never do when you leave your cat home alone.